and shorts. Smedley head.
Did you have the slow?
Okay, Dennis Paulson here with our sports talk before our big game between Chaffee and Valley, KVCR Sports Channel here. I'm with my good friend, longtime friend since we were 6th grade, 7th grade, Clay Nacsin. And a big part of the reason I'm here probably today is because he got me into coaching back on in the day, 21 year. Kristen's 21st birthday.
We won't say how long ago it was.
No, we won't have to go back that many. Yeah, we won't have to go there. But Clay's been a head baseball coach at Cajon, been a football coach, defensive coordinator. He's been pretty much did everything, receivers, DBs.
Head golf coach for 2 years.
Golf coach, too, didn't know that.
Currently assistant girls varsity basketball coach at Cajon High School as well.
Assistant varsity basketball coach. Been a baseball coach here at Valley College and a football coach at Valley College.
Yes,
so, I mean, not many guys can say they've done both, okay? And Blumenthal, like, has been here 35 years, done 3 things. Smedley was tennis and football. You done baseball and football. Back in the day when you were recruiting in baseball, did they still have that rule where you know, if there was boundary rules, the same thing?
I think this was towards the end when those rules were gone.
Oh, really?
And a kid could pretty much go wherever he wanted. And the boundary rules were more, I think, when we were in high school.
Yeah. And the loophole, I think, was if you moved to this area, you could go to that school.
Well, I was supposed to go to Chaffee.
I know that.
And I went and played at RCC.
That's correct.
And the loophole was I was going to play football. And Chaffee didn't have a football team at the time, if you remember.
Okay, for a couple of years
and,
they had.
So I went and talked to the football coach one day, and they probably.
But you were such a great baseball player. I mean, that was a no-brainer. I mean,
that's how they did the loophole. Was,
yeah.
Oh, I want to go play football, and you don't have a football team.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play football.
Yeah.
I was a baseball player.
And that's true. And then you go to RCC. You go to play in Australia. You go and actually play in Cal State San Bernardino. Mm-hmm. Go after that then. Mm-hmm. Then we played the Mexican League for a while. Piates. Okay, but we'll get into that.
Piates?
The Piates.
Something like that.
So, but Clay, like I said, big reason I got into coaching was him. He learned in his first varsity job, thrown in the fire, Bruick in the 80s, 86, 85 season, 86 graduating class, or 86. You're like DB coach at one of the most, number one best teams in the program.
I had no idea what was being asked of me. Dick said, I'd like you to be the DB coach, and I was like, okay, I think no big deal. I'm young, I'm excited, I want to coach, and I played some DB, so I'm ready. And he goes, you'll be working with Skip Fazio, and I'm excited about that. A legend, we're going to be playing him this week, and his son Vinny.
We got the Ike mob.
And after I meet with him, I start getting together with the other coaches, and they're like, you're doing DBs, right? I'm like, well, yeah.
That's what they told me, right?
Yeah.
I got the memo.
What's the big deal,
Yeah.
Well, you're doing DBs. I'm like, well, yeah, I know. What's the deal? Don't you know that Dick Bruick is a very, very good DB coach, and you're going to be under the microscope with him?
Well, what a guy to learn from,
I was
right?
like, well, but, Dick never Dick had a way with some coaches to make them perform better. And
he made
as
everyone,
no,
without a doubt.
And it wasn't always very nice.
You know what?
And Coach Bruick treated me like a son. He never yelled at me, never got on me. He took me always to the side, taught me. It was the most. He's my mentor today. If I need advice on something, I call.
Well, that's why you
Dick.
coach like you do. You're a bit. See me, I'm a little more outspoken, passionate, freaking. You've worked with me, God. I've got some issues. You know that too. God bless you. But the thing is, that's what I thought Bruick did too. And the first year coaching with you was weird because I played linebacker all through college. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, he says, Clay's going to be DC. We're doing the sophomores, first year, And I learned so much from him. He was my mentor, too, as years from scouting, what we had to do as a scouting coaches. Right. I'm doing D-line. Casey's a Division I DB guy, but he's got to do linebacker.
Right.
You're an offense. He makes. And I asked Bruick one day, I said, why you do that? And he says, well, to be a successful coach, you have to coach in areas you're not comfortable in. And so he made me learn another spot that I didn't like. I had to learn D-line. I played 1 year.
Triggered my mind, too, because I wanted to be a wide receiver coach.
Yeah.
And he asked me, what do you want to coach? I said, I want to do wide receivers. And he goes, okay, you're doing DBs.
Thanks for coming. And back in the day, there was so much town pride. One school, one game. You remember that game, our first year coaching. Fontana's number 1 in the state, got a 9-game win streak going on. Eisenhower's got... They're number 2, number 3 in the state. Fontana's nationally ranked. just won a CIF championship the year before, and boom, Eisenhower beats us. You know what I mean? Rips down the goalposts, causes the game to be day game for the next 2 or 3 years.
I was coaching in that game.
Yeah, I know. We were there. We were both there on the sidelines. I mean, that was huge. So that was to watch that happen, and had beat him in 12 years. And you know, Bruick, I think, had that way of bringing a lot of the other schools stepped their game up. When Bruick stepped the game up, when he came over Tyree and Christopher helped out in Eisenhower, I thought that you know. Riverside Poly stepped it up. Hoke stepped it up. Great coach. Like Blumenthal and Powell had some great things to say about him. But also us having trainers. That wasn't heard of back in the day.
No,
you know, we got Tony Hughes. They got Kevin Graff. You know what I mean? And I think that was a big part of it too. They saw that aspect of that. You know what I mean? And like Sola's the fixture right here at Valley College now. You know what I mean? As a trainer for 30 years.
Those programs at that time were probably, I don't know what the word
Because it was
is.
Division I? Was that the thing? Or?
They were run probably like a small college.
No, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And I had a very hard time. I mean, we're getting a little off track, but I had a real hard time when I got hired at Cajon High School.
Oh, yeah.
Going from Fontana High School, which was,
I'm with you.
I mean, like coaching at a college,
No, without
and
a
then
doubt.
we're out in the dirt.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
You know, and we're
not doing what we do. We're not doing segments.
We're giving kids rides to school, and we're just, okay, what do you want to do today, coach? And no gear to work with. You got 2 footballs. I mean, stuff like that.
You know, that's a good point you make.
It was hard. It was really hard.
Well, I think the big point was, and I remember interviewing Bruick on that one time, and I think Proposition 13 thought a big fact. They were trying to bring all, you know, the women sports to make them equal with the high schools, with the boys sports, as many girls sports as there was.
Title IX, yeah.
And
Prop 13, though, they were trying to cut coaches.
Cut the coaches and the pay.
They wanted to cut athletics altogether in some places.
And he mentioned that, and when he was at Fontana, that was the one thing he wanted to do, is he made sure that they kept that, and that was the reason for us taking that step when the decline in the steel mill and the economy went down.
I believe you put that in the book, because he told me about it. It was a powwow with district officials, and how are we going to keep our program? How are we going to keep our 16 coaches? How are we going to keep our nice stadium?
He had that vision. I mean, so
he
saw the vision.
He fought for it. He fought for it.
And it worked. And they, not only were they paid more, but it was able for them to compete with the Orange County State and make us a state powerhouse and eventually a national powerhouse, because he saw the importance in sports. And a lot of people in this area don't understand, and we're not getting off track or anything but I mean, in sports, it helps economy, because at the same time, people are going to go to your area if they know their kid has a chance to maybe get a scholarship and play for a good high school coach.
True.
You know what I mean? That's true. Or in any sport, baseball, basketball. I mean, look at home, your daughter's playing basketball. One of the best programs in the state.
Yes, sir.
And you're an assistant coach, Coach Lehman. I mean, you know that. I mean, they've won a couple CIF championships, been in the state playoffs. I mean, come on. She could have played at other schools, but I mean, she's there, not because you're a teacher, but also, you know.
I actually, because we lived in Corona at the time, you know, I wanted her to go to school at Santiago High School, and she went 1 year, and she kept telling me, Dad, I always wanted to coach for Coach Lehman. It's Cajon High School. I grew up going to school with you. I don't know anything else.
Since she was born on the sidelines.
On the side. She was water girl for about 5 years. And she was, you know, and I finally gave in. I go, okay, I'll just take
and you didn't want to bring her to school that you were working at, but you know, now, you know, hopefully she's got a chance. And you were just like no different than Blumenthal. When I had an interview with Blumenthal earlier, he said the same thing. You want to put your kids in a position to be successful, but you happen to have one of the most successful basketball programs in this area, and that'll give her a shot to get recruited. And Bloom, like I said, he had his boy, Riverside College had a better baseball program. He made one of his sons. You know, they're both Cajon kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they both played there. I mean, you know them. You know them both,
Great
the Blumenthals,
players.
great players.
Yeah.
Kyle and them. And Kyle goes to RCC. He says, hey, they both won 2 state championships. What are you going to do, right? I mean, and he got a 4-year ride and went out of there. So what do you think it helps in recruiting? Like, let's get back to Valley College and Chafee. How important now? This might, like I said, be Carl Beach's last curtain call. He's out. True. You know what I mean? True. So when you coached here, what do you think? Coach Emerson, you know Coach Emerson. I coached with Coach Meach with him too. What does he bring to the game? I like what you were telling me before that.
Coach Emerson's probably the closest guy to Dick Bruick I've ever worked for.
Really?
Very similar personalities. Micromanagers, intense, demands intensity from his coaches, demands perfection from his coaches, probably more than the players.
Wow.
you can just tell that it's his life, it's his passion. Very knowledgeable about the game.
Very structured.
Very structured. I really enjoyed coaching here.
Yeah.
If there wasn't some things going on with my kids going to Cajon,
without a doubt, yeah.
I would still be coaching here today. I enjoyed Kevin so much. We really hit it off. I mean, my interview, I think I was here 3.5 hours.
Wow.
With me and him talking.
Wow.
You know.
That's an interview.
And,
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Funny story. Once, this is Kevin. All
Okay.
right. It's, I've been coaching all summer, all spring. We're about into week 2 of the season, I think. And we have an area we call pre-practice or early outs, and it's before practice starts.
Sure.
And it's a little drill I do with my receivers. And one day I was kind of having fun with them, and we were kind of loafing and smoking and joking. And he walks out, didn't say anything to me, kind of looked, and I was like, that was a different look he gave me. And we start practice, and we get to a point where we stretch, and the kids are stretching, and I can tell something's on his mind. And he's like, Coach Nacsin, come here for a minute. And he walks me over to the track away from practice, and he's like, Coach, I really think you need to take your early out drills a little more serious, because, if you don't take it serious, how do you expect the kids to take it serious?
Wow.
And it was like, I've been coaching 22 years, I'm older than him, and I'm getting lectured by the guy. I was like, I tell you what, he didn't have to do that the rest of the year to me.
Yeah, and I like that too, and it was done. So, I mean, Meach did that with me too when I was here, and you learn from every coach, but they had this thing they did for 15, 20 minutes, which I thought was really nice. And what I think Valley's doing a good job is when I watch Coach Emerson, Coach Meach, and the guys is they prepare them for them 4-year schools. They come out, and it's all business. I mean, you come out, the guys know what we're doing every minute, every second. That's how we learned with Bruick and them guys.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And a lot of high school programs don't do that, can't do that, don't have the access to having the coaches on staff. You got walk-in guys that got jobs that are showing up. That's the big point. And like I was talking with Coach Geringer, the powerhouse now has shifted a little bit. Back in the day, CBL was the cream of the crop, and we're getting ready to take our first game against Eisenhower, Cajon's first CBL game. Played Eisenhower the last.
Still doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right.